Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick video about the new hit items since I've been asked a lot about them and how I feel about them, so let me give my thoughts and explain how these items work. So the first one is Razor Claw. After the Pokemon uses a move, the next basic attack deals a minimum of extra 20 damage on level 20, and it also does 50% damage depending on how much attack damage your Pokemon has. So that's the entire damage it does. It has a 2-second cooldown. It lasts for 2 seconds, so if you don't attack after using ability, it disappears after 2 seconds. And the slow effects last 1 second. And the stats, it also has some basic stats. On level 20, 10 attack and 1.6% crit chance. On level 30, 15 attack and 2.1% crit. So what this means is, if your Pokemon has a lot of basic attack damage, this ability can do, this scales very well with high basic attack Pokemon. So let's look at this list. So what do we want? We want low cooldowns, or we want low cooldowns and high basic attack damage, or just high basic attack damage in general, so that it still does something in late game. I've tested this item on special Pokemon like Pikachu as an example, and Venusaur, but because their physical attack is so low, it's good early game, but it falls off very, very hard. So like later on level 13, 14, 15, it just doesn't really have impact anymore. It's pretty good early game though, like I've won a lot of Pikachu games just by bullying my opponents early on, but it just feels very, very weak late game, so it's very good on these kind of Pokemon, like Zeraora if you go Spark. If you play Void Discharge, it's not very, very good. Talonflame, this is actually outdated a bit. He currently has a bit more since he got Buff Blood Splash, 681 attack on level 15, so this is level 15 based. So yeah, 50% of this plus the base damage in late game, it's a good amount of damage extra. Absol, probably the best Pokemon for it. Absol is very reliable on crits. Absol has very high basic attack damage, and Absol has low cooldowns on top of it. So one of the best items on Absol. And then there's some more Pokemons, like Lucario doesn't have the highest basic attack, but he has very low cooldowns, which means very good item on him. Cinderace has decently low cooldowns, range damage dealer. I think it can be better than Scope Lens, just because it has like more consistent damage instead of hoping that you crit. And then these Pokemon are just like, again, it just doesn't scale good enough. Machamp has 2 high cooldowns for it, in my opinion. Greninja also, I think, has 2 high cooldowns, but could be fine in like a double team Water Shuriken build, or after every surf, you get surf resets, you do a lot of basic attack extra damage. Garchomp, 2 high cooldowns for it. But yeah, that's how Razor Claw works. I think it is a pretty good versatile item. Right now, I've been using it on Spark Zeraora in case I play Spark, Talonflame, Absol. I've been using it on Lucario and Cinderace. Those are the main Pokemon for it. And again, I tried it on Pikachu and Venusaur, but it just felt way too lackluster late on in the game, so I'd rather still have like more utility-based items on those kind of Pokemon. And in Charizard, I haven't tested yet. I think Charizard, it could be good on with Fire Punch. But yeah, I'm a big Flamethrower fan right now, and Flamethrower, I don't think it's that good, but it has a chance to replace Scope Lens as another damage item as well. So, I mean, it's pretty much, it just rivals Scope Lens as an item on a lot of these Pokemon, and it probably might replace it, depending on if your character, if you think you like it. And yeah, it just adds a little bit of extra burst to your combo. Also level 30, people ask me if I should level this item level 30, it gives 0.5% more crit rate and 5 attack. I personally would say that's not worth it to level 30 it. Level 20 is good enough, but if you value, I mean 0.5% crit rate should not be undervalued. Crit rate is crit rate, it can win you the game. But I would still probably hold on for it for now. Then we have Weakness Policy. It's an interesting item. So how it works is increase the Pokemon's attack for a short time by a minimum of 3% at level 20 when the Pokemon receives damage. This increase grows larger the more time and damage it receives. It stacks up 4 times, you can even see it in your buff bar. And it has no cooldown, so every time you get attacked it stacks up again, and again lasts for 4 seconds. If you don't take damage for 4 seconds, or 3 seconds I mean, sorry, it disappears again, but it instantly activates again as soon as you get hit, and then it stacks up again. Its stats are 210 HP and 15 attack on 30, 160 HP on 20, and 10 attack on level 20. That's okay. It's pretty mediocre, nothing too impressive. While it's also not terrible. So the problem with this item is there's just not a lot of Pokemon that can make use out of this. And it has a weird, so it just rivals with a lot of good defensive or offensive items, right? It's just like, it competes with Muscle Band, potentially Scope Lens, potentially Razor Claw, and then just defensive items like Focus Band, Scorchy, Buddy Barrier. It has to replace one of those items, which I just don't see happening. There's also not a lot of Pokemon that can maybe use this. The Pokemon that come to mind are like Garchomp, Charizard, and maybe Lucario, but Lucario just has too many items that are good on him, so I can't replace it. Charizard, it can be okay on, and Garchomp. I think Garchomp is probably the best character that could use this item, but even then, you just have better choices, so yeah, this item is not... It looks interesting, but I would say pretty lackluster. And then the third item, Choice Specs. Increase the damage of moves by a minimum of 60 on level 20 when they hit, and the higher the Pokemon's special attack is, the more the damage is increased. So this is like the special attack version of Razor Claw, but it makes one of your abilities do extra damage. And it also increases, so it's 60% base damage, and also 21% of your special attack also gets converted into damage. So again, just like Razor Claw, it's good on Pokemon that are actually made for it. So what does my Pokemon want to have? A lot of special attack, right? Let's look at the special attack. These are Pokemon with very, very high special attack. Gardevoir, Venusaur, Ninetales, and Pikachu. Those will get the most value out of Choice Specs. These Pokemon also still fine. I got asked if I want to play it on Mr. Mime, but yeah, Mr. Mime's special attack is very low. He has very high special attack scaling, which makes his abilities do a lot of damage, but due to him not having a lot of special attack, this item won't do a lot, pretty much. In general, I'm not a big fan of this item because of this. It has an 8-second cooldown, and I think that's just way too high for an item. Yeah, this is like instantly as when I tested and I saw it has an 8-second cooldown, I was like, probably can't replace different items. And then the damage bonus also only affects one Pokemon. If you're using an AoE move, you will only affect one of the opposing Pokemon that gets hit by the move. So honestly, to me, a very lackluster item. I would not recommend using it. But I might be wrong on this. Like, if some people can convince me that's a good item, I will gladly accept their opinion and be like, sure. But I need to be proved. I feel like I just don't know how you can test this item well enough. I wish there was like a way to see after a game how much an item did over the course of a game. Without that, it's very hard for me to judge the item. It just doesn't really do that much. It adds a bit of extra burst to your abilities, but other abilities or other items just give you so much more utility or just straight up damage over the entire game. Let's say like special attack specs or vice glasses just give permanent damage without having a cooldown or having to rely on anything else. And also it gives a bit of special attack per level, 29 on 20 and 39 on 30, which is okay. Nothing too amazing either. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this item. Razor Claw has good potential, weakness policy, would not recommend, and choice specs. My opinion, I think it's a terrible item, and I don't really want to test it, so I'm waiting until other people test the item more. But in general, I would wait for now and not really play it much. I know people have been using it on stuff like Gengar, but again, he doesn't even have a lot of special attack. Unless you play like triple glasses. If you play all triple glasses stuff, which is just not a good build, right? Like you're like completely defensive, you're like just, I one-shot my opponents, if I don't, I kinda die. You don't really offer utility, all you do is kill opponents, which doesn't always win you games in Pokemon Unite. It's all about like just scorched healing and just getting map pressure as well, which Gengar is very good at. So like you would have to skip stuff like Scorch Shield or Focus Band, which helps you when you want. But I mean, yeah. So in general, Razor Claw for sure good level 20 investment, especially if you play characters like Talonflame, Absol, Lucario, very good item on. Weakness policy, no, and choice specs. I would for now not recommend using it. But it's worth a test on these characters, Gardevoir, Ninetales as well. Ninetales has way too high cooldown, so like Ninetales is more like basic attack damage based, right? You don't really use Ninetales Spade Slot unless you play like Blizzard and Avalanche. And then Pikachu, I think on Pikachu could have potential, so Gardevoir, Pikachu, maybe Gengar. Besides that, I don't think it's good on any other characters. Thank you for watching.